Yo, 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 what up, y'all? What's up? What's cracking? What's up with everybody? Yeah, man, my Pittsburgh Steelers, man. I like y'all see the running back stats are up from 2024 on the screen. If you're following here, if you're just following by audio, I got the NFL player rushing stats up for 2024 because I think that there's only like 10 out of the top 10 running backs who led the league this year. I think there's maybe three running backs in the league who don't have mobile quarterbacks, right? And you got to account for the guys who don't. So I want to see where James Cook, the Buffalo Bills. Josh Allen is very mobile, but James Cook is still 1,000 yard rusher. Joe Mixon is at number 15, 1,000 yard rusher, but James Cook was averaging 5 yards per touch. And I think that's something to pay attention to. Also, why I got this list pulled up because the mobile quarterback, besides the Lions with that very good offensive line that the Lions have, those mobile quarterback teams, those guys are almost averaging 5 yards per tote. Just about the top rushers in the league usually are, but you know, the top two, hands down, Jalen Hurts and Derrick Henry. And this is the conversation to do we keep Justin Fields at the Pittsburgh Steelers because the Pittsburgh Steelers fans are very aggravated and very tired, and we want some things to change around the Pittsburgh Steelers facility. We I'm hearing everything from get rid of Tomlin, get rid of Russell Wilson, get rid of Justin Fields. Let's start fresh. Let's just start fresh over. Like if we start fresh, where do we go from there? Because quarterback number one, I don't think quarterback was our problem. I think it's something in the off season we have to think about as far as being a problem, but I don't think it was our problem as far as why we didn't win, right? The entirety of the offense, the weapons that we did not have any weapons. Nobody stepped up at receiver. We did not have a receiver who was like George Pickens. We just did not have it. Where was the outside help? Where was it? Where was it? We went out and signed Mike Williams. That didn't work too. That didn't work. I mean, but he was there. We went out. We got veterans like Van Jefferson. That like we got. I don't know if it works or not. And these guys were supposed to be familiar with the Arthur Smith system, but it just didn't work. But why didn't it work? Why didn't it work? You know, and that's the thing. Like why didn't this Arthur Smith's offense be one of the best offenses in the NFL this year? Why wasn't it one of the best offenses in the NFL? Has it ever been? You know what I mean? It could. I guess. You know what I mean. You got Russell Wilson stats near the Dolphins. You got Jalen Hurts stats near the Dolphins too. That don't tell the whole story, but like, what? But why wasn't it that effective? I don't. I think it was right, but I just don't think that we need. I think we need a new. I think we need to let Justin Fields run the offense completely run the same type of offense that Russell Wilson ran this year. Completely. He's more of a run threat. People don't respect Russell Wilson's running ability. They don't respect it because he does not have the same running ability, the same get up he did years ago. Can he still run? Yes, he can still run if need be, but he does not have that same acceleration he had when he first came in. That is okay to have. Then can you still run? That's the bigger part. That's all that he needs. But they don't respect his running ability as much. So if we keep Russell Wilson, let me give y'all the options, Pittsburgh Steelers fans out there. If we keep Russell Wilson at quarterback, then we have to get Oh, we have to put a lot of money into the offensive line. A lot of it. A lot of it. Not not a little bit. We gotta definitely, without a doubt, shore up that offensive line to the point where it's just there. And even with that being said, that still may be a problem, right? We got young guys there that I think learned a lot this year, and I think that they'll step up next year. But let's look at the upside. If we keep Justin Fields there, then we can get the weapons we need on the outside, because if we're just looking at the offense and George Pickens, then who else really outside of George Pickens at receiver stepped up this year? Who else? I think he was our leading receiver, and I think he missed a couple of games. So I'm going through the list right now. If you're following along on YouTube, George Pickens was our leading receiver on the team. He played only 14 games, had 900 yards, and then nobody else was even remotely close to him. Pat Freiermuth was our second leading receiver on the team. He had 653 passing yards. That was it. Calvin Austin had 548 passing yards. But where was the dynamic help that he needed? Where was it at? Where? And that's all I'm saying. Like, and granted, you can say, well, who do we go get? We gotta go after Tyreek Hill or T. Higgins. They're right there with George Pickens. We gotta go after one of these guys. We gotta eat. If we can't get Tyreek Hill, we gotta get T. Higgins. We have to lock down T. Higgins. Well, they're the same. So what if they're the same type of guy? One of those guys got to be performing. We got to go get one of those guys. Period. Point blank. That's just what it is. And I think we keep Justin Fields there. We got to go after one of the top guys, man. We got to go after the talent and go get it. That's just it. Jerry Jeudy played for the Cleveland Browns, and he's number 6. He's in the top. He finished in the top 10 with the Cleveland Browns with Jameis Winston at quarterback. Let's talk about it. So there's no reason why. Yeah, we had 1,000-yard rusher. They didn't, but that's the point is we keep Fields around. I know there's a lot, and the thing is, and I know I spoke on ownership. We have to go after these guys in free agency. We have to lock them down. It gives us space to go after other positions in the draft. I love Najee Harris is a great guy. He's a great running back. I have nothing against him. He deserves to go into free agency and be paid by a team. He does. Absolutely 100% does. Because number one, Jaylen Warren, I think could have gotten those touches. If he would have gotten those touches, I think he could have been 1,000-yard back this year, number one. Same as Najee Harris. He was very spotty with that 1,000. Najee Harris should have had a 1,200-yard season this year, but it was very spotty. And even in an inconsistent year with Najee Harris, you still get 1,000 yards. So you know what I mean. So that says a lot, but about Najee Harris. But where do we go? Do we go young running back or young quarterback, or do we just sign both of the guys? See, that's the question there. But we need the help on the outside. And I hate to say this, but there's a lot of backs that's coming up that's going to slip in the later round. Because we don't spend a 22nd overall pick on a defensive lineman, do we? Walter Nolan's a great talent. I don't think you could pass on Walter Nolan if he's available at that pick, because Cam Hayward's getting older, but Cam Hayward was our leading tackler in our last playoff game. We got to shore up that defense for sure. Yeah, for sure. We gotta get some ballers on that defense. Some guys who want to play ball. Absolutely, 100%. But I think our defense was doing great. I think our defense was okay. I mean, yeah, we got scored on. We got scored on a lot, but I think a lot of others, the defenses got scored. But we kept a lot of games down low too. But when the offense is just so stagnant, what do you expect a defense to do? When you run, pass, punt, run, pass, punt, run, pass, punt, run, pass, punt. That's just how it went. That's just how it went this year. Run, pass, punt. Make a song. That's just how it went this year with the Pittsburgh Steelers. And you look at what Justin Fields is able to bring. He's a 25-year-old quarterback who has at least another 10 years of playing time left in him. What Russ is like 38. He's our future quarterback. Period. Quarterbacks are coming out now that are 25 years old. Michael Penix is the same age as Justin Fields, and he was a rookie. What are we talking about? What are we talking about? Justin Fields he came into his own in the NFL. He learned by being thrown to the wolves in the NFL. He's now learning, and he learned how to play the position better by a damn great veteran and Russell Wilson. He learned how to play better by watching Russell Wilson with the team, and he picked up a lot of notes. So you give Justin Fields the same exact autonomy with the offense that Justin Fields had. I mean, that Russell Wilson had. Give Justin Fields the same energy, the same offense. Let him run that offense the same way Russell Wilson got to run it. And I can guarantee you guys that we have a MVP candidate in Justin Fields. Yes, I said it, but I can guarantee you guys that. Let him play the full season. What else do we got to lose, y'all? Pittsburgh Steelers fans, and what else do we have to lose? We have nothing else to lose. We don't. We just don't have any. We have nothing else to lose. Nothing at all. You look at the way other teams have receivers. You look at, I like using the Chiefs, for example. Number one, they beat the snot out of us on Christmas. So shout out to them, right? Number two, they go and get the right veteran guys to place in that offense. Do we have the veteran guys there? Yes, we have the veteran guys, but do we have the quarterback? Do we have the quarterback? Yes, we have him, but we did not let him run the offense. We kept him confined. Kept him take the handcuffs. Let him play, man. Let Justin Fields play. And as soon as we were trying to let him play, and you seen him getting comfortable, they pulled him and they sat him. That showed a lot about his character. He took it with stride, stayed with the team. I just cheered the team on, and he knows a competitor, so he wanted to be on the field. He learned so much this year that he absolutely deserves to be the starting quarterback of the Pittsburgh Steelers next year, without a doubt. Anyway, period. I'm sorry, Russell Wilson. You're great, but your time has passed, sir. It's over. This year was the year for Russell Wilson to prove that he can get it done, and he cannot get it done. Justin Fields does not need as much help as Russell Wilson needs on a offense to make it succeed. I'm just keeping it a buck. Our offensive line can stay exactly where the offensive line is right now. Just give Justin Fields the weapons that he should have. And if we sit there and say that he shouldn't have the weapons, but somebody's going to step up and be 8,000-yard receiver, because you look at the weapons that the Detroit Lions have. And Amon-Ra St. Brown is a 1,200-yard receiver. You look at the weapons that that Atlanta Falcons have, and Drake London is a 1,200-yard receiver. Even a Jacksonville Jaguars, say what you want about them, but they got a pretty damn decent receiving core. 1,200-yard receiver, Brian Thomas Jr. is. Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison is a beast. And Justin Jefferson goes over and he has another 1,500-yard season. Jamar Chase has a 1,700-yard season. Garrett Wilson is a 1,000-yard receiver. Again, Terry McLaurin, like, you got to get these guys the weapons. There's no reason why George Pickens should be 30th in the NFL. There's no reason for that at all. No reason. But you got Jameson Williams. He's a 1,000-yard receiver on the same team as who? Amon-Ra St. Brown. Like, where's our other guy at? He's out there, but we just don't have him. Jordan Addison was almost a 1,000-yard receiver, but our next leading receiver had 600 yards. Like, the court, like, listen, we know what time it is. And you got to get him, give him the weapons, give him the proper weapons that he deserves. That we're the point where the league is going to respect him. Get him another name that people have to respect on defense. Give him that. Give him that. That's what has to change in Pittsburgh, y'all. Yens. What has to change in Pittsburgh is not our head coach. I'm not saying that ownership never changes, but we have to spend money in free agency and start landing these bigger names. I'm telling y'all, we love these guys when they were other teams and what their athletic ability can do. And what their athletic ability is. We love these guys, right? But we gotta go after these guys and get them, man. The Chiefs are doing it with straight defense, right? And just moving the ball. Travis Kelce, you know what I mean? Like, in a way that they are. But you gotta get the weapons, man. Gotta get the weapons. Or something with the offense has to change, right? And what needs to change? The quarterback, right? Because you have to account for the man. Every single snap, you gotta know where Justin Fields is at. Where you gotta respect that. Because if not, house call. And let's just be honest, the consistency just didn't come from Najee that much. But if Fields was in there, I think that Najee has those games. I think some of Najee's best games this year came from Justin Fields playing quarterback, if I'm not mistaken. And just to be sure, right? I'm gonna look it up right here live, which you know what I mean, and make sure that I'm on point with this. So we're looking at Najee Harris's stats right now, right? Throughout the regular season, that is, right? The games that he played. Because we went on a mean losing streak this year, by the way. He had 1,000 yards. I think some of his. Okay. So his best games came with Russ being at quarterback. Let's say that. Russ being there at quarterback, Najee's games, those were his 100-yard games, right? Those were his 100-yard games. But other than that, on the losing streak against the Eagles, he had 14 yards. Against Baltimore, he had 42. He ran for 74 yards on Kansas City. Good. That's a good number. But the beginning of the season, he had 19 yards in the loss with Indiana. I mean, when we played Indianapolis, the Colts. And when we lost to the Cowboys, he also had 42 yards. He had 100 when we played 106 when we played Las Vegas, which you probably should have had, but you get where I'm going with this, right? He was very consistent. The number looked very consistent and very good with Justin Fields at quarterback. It really did. And Justin was struggling and when we first started this season. Was very consistent. 70 yards. He was averaging about 70 yards a game for the first 3 games of the season. Najee Harris was. Has you know what I mean? Najee Harris was averaging about 70 yards in the first 3 games with us this year. Atlanta, Denver, and the Chargers. He was averaging 70 yards a game, getting 70 yards per game with us then. And then it just dropped off with the Colts. He went down to 19 yards and then lost to the Colts. Then he went then and a loss to the Cowboys. He went 42 yards, and then the win over Las Vegas, which was Justin Fields' last game. He had 106 yards. He was cooking that game. Right? They looked really good. Then we come out and this is Russell Wilson's first start was the Jets, the Giants, um, and then so the Jets and the Giants. He came in the Jets game. He had 21 carries for 102 yards. Then the Giants, he had 19 carries for 114 yards. Change at quarterback probably had a lot to do with those. That was a good little change up. Then we played Washington. He had 53 yards in that game. 21 carries, was only averaging 2 yards per carry that game. Did not look good at all, dog. We won that game, but it didn't look good. We probably shouldn't have won that game, to be honest. We beat Baltimore. The first time we played Baltimore, he averaged 3 yards per carry that game. He was averaging about, and when the offense was really clicking and really looked good, and we had a game plan against the Raiders. Not the Raiders they're bad, but they are a bad team, but still like 8 yards per carry. Then once we lost to Cleveland the first time, it was just bad. Kind of just the offense just kind of just went downhill from there. I think that's when things got exposed. He was averaging 2 yards per carry that game. We beat Cincinnati the first time. He had 75 rushing yards that game. Then we just went on a losing streak. The offense was just figured out. It was just figured out with Russ once they figured it out. So just looked bad. So Russ went 6-5 this year as a starter. Russell Wilson went 6-5 this year as our starting quarterback. Justin Fields was 4-2. I mean, what do you say? Where do we go? He had his year to prove it. He was in a playoff game against Baltimore, very familiar opponent. He played him 3 times this year and couldn't do a damn thing with the offense. Couldn't. Came out passing the ball. Arthur Smith opened that offense up for him. Couldn't complete a pass. Couldn't do it. So I do think that we need another weapon on the outside. I think that our offensive line was not the greatest, but I think it definitely needs improvement without a doubt. But I think that starts with getting Justin Fields in there and getting a rock. That's it. There's so much that needs to go on with this organization. There's so much that we're frustrated about because we're all tired of losing as Pittsburgh Steelers fans. But I want y'all to tell me what y'all think down in the comments. But me personally, we got to start spending the money because we are an up north team that has a open stadium. And believe it or not, whether y'all want to believe it or not, because y'all want to, let's keep the elements. A lot of these pros don't want, like, come on. If you're going to play in Buffalo, pay me in Buffalo. And Buffalo pays the players, and then they go ahead and they change the regime. We may need to get rid of a whole lot of these older guys and say, okay, let's move on. Let's move on from a lot of these older guys. Let's get some of these younger guys in here and let's play ball because these rookies do come to play. Make sure that we hit on these draft picks. And I think I just think it's a no-brainer, Steeler fans. There's no way you can let a Justin Fields walk out the door, especially when this was probably one of his best year, even in 6 games, I think that if you let Justin Fields play 11 games this season with the offense and the way that he was rolling, I'm cool with a 7-4. I'm cool with a 7-4 record. You know what I'm saying? I think it's somewhere between 7-4, 7-4, maybe 8-3, maybe even 8-3, y'all. Out of 11 games, Justin Fields, man. I'm telling you, I think it's something like that with the defense we have, his dynamic running ability. You have an account for him. I think that our offense is there. I think we already have the pieces there. I think that just rest wasn't the answer. But quarterback, I go back and say again, I don't think quarterback was our only problem. I think our defense gave up on us. But what needs to change in Pittsburgh is who we bring into Pittsburgh. It needs to change. It just needs to change. The times have changed. The players are different now, not coming to the league. The players that are in the league are different. We have to start accepting the fact and getting out of the old traditional ways. Still keep up with the standard. Keep, I mean, we try to keep this. I think that's where he says the standard is the standard. Being a Pittsburgh Steeler, you gotta have a certain type of attitude. You gotta roll a certain type of way. But that does not mean you can't be yourself at the organization. I think that has to change. You got to start getting these guys, paying these guys the money to come in there and play. Start dropping that bag off top. Make it a desirable destination for players. Period. You want to win, you got to spend. Which I think down in the comments, let me know, man.